We're back, baby. Here with the one, the only, the wrestling encyclopedia, Vincent Kennedy Bucci, and on the road to Damascus, blinded by the light, is the one and only Damascian Lycan, aka Desmond Dagenhart. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen. How are you?
Still the champ, so I can't be that bad.
You had to remind me, and I suppose you'll want to recap WrestlePalooza so we can go over your victory tour.
I mean, that is why I'm here.
Oh, I thought you were here for good conversation and tea. I didn't know. Well, I guess while we're here, let's do it, right? So, if you didn't know, now you know. Damascus Des did choose wisely in this endeavor that we call WrestlePalooza. It happened last month, September 20th in Indianapolis. Again, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's probably because you don't have ESPN. And that is okay because you can still watch the recap replay on Peacock for the time being until they get everything sold from them too. But hey, we're here.
Or you could act like me, just get a VPN and watch it on Netflix.
Yeah, all that tech stuff, all that. We'll do that's a separate episode. If you want to understand more about that, hit up Desmond. He does a consultation fee. He'll hook you up with all of the streaming services there. He doesn't even have to climb the telephone pole like the old days where you get the free cable by going up there and twisting the levers. But here we are, guys. WrestlePalooza. It seems like eternity ago. Things have happened since then. We can talk about that. But primarily, I am here to celebrate the champion. Look, I will give credit where it's due. You were right more than we were. So let's go over, let's recap, let's rehash, let's pull the Band-Aid off. Pull it off. First match was Brock Lesnar and John Cena. Y'all's takes before I give my tepid one.
I don't think any of us are happy about this. Lesnar had no business being back in the first place. I understand that it was a bring him back for John Cena kind of deal, but it should have been a give Cena a chance to redeem himself from the last time he faced Lesnar. Cena should have won that match. The fact that he didn't is an insult to Cena's final run. It's just not right. It was disrespectful, and supposedly they had changed the result the day of the actual show, which and Cena was supposed to win originally. I don't give a fuck. The fans are pissed. Lesnar, we don't give a fuck about Lesnar. I mean, at this point, the only thing that has going for him is if they get him get on another good run to have him go against Braun Breaker at Mania, and then Breaker beats him. That's the only good thing that can come from Lesnar being back.
Good insights, Damascus Des. Vincent Kennedy Bucci, are you in places unknown? Where are you right now?
I am inside I'm in a classroom. That's why it took me a while to get in. I had to get the last of the kids out of the classroom to go to aftercare. So now I'm inside a building that may or may not be a long-term stay. They're asking me about, we're in talks about that. So it's a little tidbit here. If things go well, I might be in this building. I might be in this classroom for quite a while, let's just say. Apparently I'm making a good impression with some people here.
Kindergarten cop.
Let's specify he is a teacher, not a priest. Those kids are okay.
Wow. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Well, I do get mistaken for a priest a lot in this suit, so he is valid in making that statement.
Vinny, to be honest, I am a bit confused here because it's my understanding that you're not allowed within 1,000 feet of a school. Is that correct?
We got that overturned. I had a good, yeah, that's all good. We cleared that up.
There was a past episode of the Mill Soap Opera Moment. You'll have to go back and listen to all of them to find this segment that we did at some point years ago. Yeah. It's worth your while. Definitely.
Basically, the same legal team that got Brock Lesnar to WWE got me here. Let's just say that. So
Ghost of Cochran. Gotcha.
Exactly. Man once said, "You swim with the fishes, you dead sons of bitches." So anyway,
well, back then that law team was doing the pro bono cases. That's why they took yours on, and now that really helped elevate them to the level of the Lesnar cases. Now,
exactly, and it's crazy because Desmond took the words right out of my mouth. Like, I blame myself for not picking Brock Lesnar. I thought Triple H had better sense than that, and I should have known better because he's shown he is losing his sense a lot.
Say supposedly John Cena made that call.
Oh, then he's lost his mind too.
Why would he make that call?
Because he's out of his mind.
Because Cena's on his way out, and Lesnar is not planning on retiring specifically just yet. So he felt like giving it to Lesnar was better for the future of WWE.
Yeah, but let's take out Logan Paul at Clash in Paris. That makes sense. But anyway, they should have flip-flopped that. He should have lost at Clash in Paris and won at WrestlePalooza. But the fact is, there's a fan with a sign that summed up perfectly the entire match, and I love it. The sign says, "He shouldn't be here, and we all know why." That sums up exactly how I felt about this match, and I'm actually glad I missed it, because funny story, I had no plans on watching WrestlePalooza live because I thought I didn't have it. All of a sudden, my dad's on Hulu, and he goes, "Hey, were you watching a WrestlePalooza thing?" He goes, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "It's on the screen right now." Apparently, somehow we got WrestlePalooza, so Dad said, "You want to watch it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I haven't watched wrestling with my dad in 20 years. So by the time we turned it on, though, John Cena was walking to the back, so we had no idea what happened. Then we found out later Lesnar won, and I went, not shocked. So I didn't get a chance to see it, but yeah, that match was a disgrace. And I'm glad Desmond feels the same way. I didn't know how we were going to feel on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit the nail on the head. No need to beat this dead horse more than it's already been destroyed. But apart from the legal stuff, you know how I feel about multiple F5s. But more than that,
I will say, in this particular case, Cena wasn't kicking out so much as Lesnar was just trying to make a point.
yeah. But again, to your point, Desmond, earlier, this should have been a match where John Cena gets some retribution. He's been Lesnar's biatch. And for a retirement tour, this really puts him 6 feet under. And there's no sense, given what's going on with Lesnar, to push him, even if it's Cena's idea. That's one that H has to say, look, John, I appreciate the love. I appreciate your heart. And I know what you're about. He isn't about burying people. To some people, he is, according to Vincent Kennedy Bucci. But John Cena himself is probably saying, I want Brock Lesnar to have the stardom. I'm leaving. He's still here. Let's do this thing. Does it make sense? No, it does not. So all three of us agree this match should not have turned out the way it did. Let's see if they can sing a redemption song in the long term. Match 2, The Vision, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed taking on the Usos, Jay, and Big Jim. And we had a little special guest referee. LA Knight was your special guest referee, and the Vision did win. I believe I called that right. Damascus Des, you called that. Vinny, did you get that one right?
I can't remember. I don't have the notes in front of me.
Pretty sure that me and Vinny only differed on one match, and this wasn't it.
That's right.
Yeah. Because I said that at this point, I said the Vision didn't win this match, they were buried. Because it was ridiculous that the L's they were taking at all. So there were a couple times where I was like, oh my God, they're gonna rob these two guys. And then in the end, they were able to pick up the win. And I was just like, okay, there's some life in this pay-per-view yet. So yeah, the Vision won. It was a great tag match. The Usos haven't seen in a long time, but that's chemistry. It can't go away. Could have did without the super kick party, but other than that, great match.
Always a super kick party. There's always a super kick party.
The match was all right. It was what I expected it to be. We had a couple of good spots, but otherwise, realistically, we knew the Vision was going to win. Like we all called it. I'm a little weirded out that LA Knight played almost no part in the victory, and still Jay is like, we lost because of LA Knight. How? What the fuck did LA Knight do to cause you to lose that match? He actually protected his ass multiple times.
Yep.
Shit pissed me off.
No, it should, because there was obvious tension between him and Jay, and they didn't really explore that. And I feel like you should, and it should be.
I mean, they had a couple of moments where they were in each other's face.
Yeah, but
it wasn't. At no point did LA Knight lay hands on Jey Uso.
You got to. If you're the special guest referee, you got to. If it's not a super kick by Shawn Michaels, then you just got to do something. You know what I mean? If you're the special guest referee. But that was a match where
Well, the special guest referee, no, here's the thing. When you're a babyface guest referee, you only lay hands, they lay hands on you. The heel special guest referee can pretty much do whatever he wants. That's why you very seldom see a heel guest referee. It's usually a babyface, and they try to, but the babyface doesn't usually do something until he gets attacked. In the meantime, he tries to call up down the middle. Or is it a do with somebody that he taunts them a little bit with slow counts, but as far as putting their hands on them, he doesn't do that. He might taunt with slower counts, like 1.
He called the match well down the middle. He did everything right. He's like, he's like, if he let one person hit somebody with a chair, he let the other person hit them with the chair. It was even. At no point at all did it feel biased, which is the way that Jay's making it seem. I'm more like I said, the match was all right. It wasn't super high quality, but it was good for the middle of the card, you know.
Yeah, agreed. I always like when LA Knight's involved in anything. Just he brings a certain level of energy that other competitors don't, even as a special guest referee. So that was a nice touch by H to put him in there. This next match was the one that made everything different. And as you recall, ladies and gentlemen, I had to put it on the line. I had to make a choice. And if I had gone right down the middle, there's no way we would have differed and you would have had the same champion. So I decided to put my chips in Io Sky's corner. I'm not regretting the fact. First of all, this to me was the match of the night, in my opinion. I loved this match. I thought it was great, and it solidified Stephanie Vacker as our new champion. Like I feel like Io's time is come and gone, and we have a new guard, and I'm excited to see what happens. And I love her finisher. The spiral tap is a lot of fun to watch, and it looks actually dangerous. And I love finishers like that.
Yeah, this one was a really good match. Everybody online agrees that this was the one good part, the one truly good point of the entire show. It was beautifully done. The story was well done. There were no obvious botches. I don't necessarily agree that Io's time is done, but she has another story going right now. And that story was it did not need a championship. This is a personal story. Let the championship stick with Stephanie Vacker so that we can build a new champ and build more stories in the future.
I like it. Booch, what say you?
Exactly. I mean, it was a solid match, and the right person won because, like Des said, it doesn't need a title. And Stephanie Vacker, I'm pretty sure the plan originally was for her to win the title in Paris, which they canceled when Naomi got pregnant. So if Naomi hadn't gotten pregnant, there would have been a match in Paris, and Naomi would have most likely dropped the title to Stephanie. So they had to do this, and then they decided rather than waste everyone's time with his 5 triple threat matches, and then they'll face off in this 6-pack challenge and do that crap that they keep doing. They just said, you know what? Io Sky's owed a rematch. Let's put you two in here, and you all fight for it. It was simple booking and made valid sense on both ends, so it's not like it was thrown together, even though it was thrown together, but there was logic. They explained it logically. Like, okay, here's why we're throwing these two together. And in the end, Stephanie won. There was mutual respect at the end because they're both baby faces, and they're not going to feud anytime soon. So there's no reason for any heel stuff. No reason for any, I'm not going to shake your hand. Let's just, all right, we're anointing this new champ that got called up way too fast, but I don't hate it. It's just weird, but still, Stephanie's the champ, and I look forward to seeing what she does with it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm excited to see how she elevates that title as well. And she's so young that sky's the limit.
You said the sky's the limit, but she's already beat Sky.
Well played. Well played. On to the next one here. This mixed I didn't know what to expect, guys. I think we all kind of knew that this was AJ Lee's return party, that she was going to get the glory here. And indeed, she locked in the Black Widow and got the dub. What say you about the match, and where do you see this going?
I don't like the fact that it was AJ Lee's return match and she spent 3/4 of the match ringside. Other than that, it was very predictable. We knew what was going to happen. And I don't think this story between AJ and Becky Lynch is anywhere near over. This was just a matter of this is how we get started. We're gonna see. I think we're gonna eventually see AJ win get that title off of Becky Lynch. That's what I think this is. That's where I think this is heading.
Makes sense. What about you, bitch?
Yeah, I mean, definitely she's gonna win the title. I will say this: I think the fact that she spent 3/4 of the match on ringside was one of those. It's an old school thing where when you have like a returning legend or a returning person, whether it's returning period or for a one-off, they put you on the apron to tease it. So when you finally make that hot tag to the legend, that crowd's gonna explode. So they build the anticipation for it or cut it off. And I'm only using this example. It's like when Hogan and Shawn Michaels would team up, for example, before Shawn turned on him. Anytime Shawn was always start the match, he'd spend 3/4 of the match there. He'd crawl, he made that tag, he made the tag to Hogan, he'd like get all amped up and the crowd would go nuts. He'd get in the ring, start Hogan, and the crowd would go crazy. So I get why they did that. And I know that pretty much everybody in this match looked strong except for CM Punk. I think that's the only thing I noticed about this match was I saw AJ once AJ Lee got in.
I'm gonna need you to explain this because to me it seemed like he was whooping Seth Rollins' ass all around the goddamn ring.
Yeah, he whooped Seth Rollins' ass around the goddamn ring. His tag team partner was knocking him around the goddamn ring. I mean, I'm saying
Refusing to hit a woman does not make you look weak. I don't know where that mindset came from with you.
Where did you go?
I can't see him.
I'll be back in just a second.
He's the never seen 17-time prediction champion here in Wentworth.
I don't know. Did he win it 17 times?
I don't know.
It just makes
Am I
sense.
keeping track of those numbers?
Yeah, no.
I don't think we are.
Wait, we had a record book somewhere. I can't find. Oh, here it is.
That's lost.
Nope, it's not in here. We have a ton of other information, but not that.
Yeah, we saw like a sharpshooter for 5 seconds and then, but I'm saying like Seth Rollins looked great, Becky looked great, AJ. I think this whole match was revolving around AJ pretty much. So once AJ got in, the place exploded. She was whooping ass on everybody, and then in the end, she got the pin, which should have happened because they were building this up. And obviously, Seth and Punk's not going to be pinning Seth Rollins anytime soon in anything. Because I think they're going to wait until they're ready to lock up again, one-on-one. And then when Punk finally beats Seth Rollins, I think they're going to drag it out to Mania. I think they're going to Vegas.
They should.
And they're trying to drag it out as much as possible. So.
Excellent insight from Vincent Kennedy Bucci and Damascus Des. And there's still one more match, plus something I wanted to ask you before we get to the match. I want to ask you your thoughts on what we saw. Obviously, the dead man came out, announced that Stephanie McMahon would be inducted into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. Your thoughts on this? Like,
Okay.
I'm going to go last. Whoever wants to go first.
Here's the thing. On the one hand, Stephanie McMahon does deserve the Hall of Fame. I will not take that away from her. So you can't be too upset. She does have a legacy. She is the former women's champion. She has done a lot for the company behind the scenes and in the ring, general manager. She has the legacy to be in the Hall of Fame. So I can't take that away from her. On the other hand, Triple H and ESPN and everybody were expecting monumental surprises, and that's pretty much what they gave us. Like that did not excite anyone. I mean, it was not. If you're going to tell somebody we have a monumental surprise and that's it, that's the letdown. That like WrestlePalooza is being considered the worst pay-per-view of 2025, and not just because of
Lesnar dominating Cena was a surprise.
Not a good one.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they had surprises. None of them were good. Like as much as Stephanie deserves the Hall of Fame, that's not the fans thing. The fans were like, okay, we like it, but if we're expecting a surprise, we're expecting the return of the final boss or something big like that, or some kind of monumental thing that's going to impact an ongoing storyline. That's what you're expecting. You're not. What they gave us was it was like, it's okay, but not really what you promised me.
I like the fact that Stephanie didn't know what was going to happen. She saw Taker. She had no idea he was going to be. It was like she knew he was there, but she had no. He wasn't supposed to be on the show at all. So when he came out, she's like, okay, maybe he's doing something because of my birthday, because the birthday was like 3 days prior to it. And he is and then it is like, oh, no, you're inducted to the Hall of Fame. I like the fact that she didn't know. That's really what it comes down to. But other than that, it was a segment. It doesn't really further the show. It just says, hey, first inductee to the Hall of Fame this year. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you guys. I definitely think she deserves it. Like, she was such a great character during the Attitude Era. She took a lot of heat from a lot of men, especially Jericho. He was ruthless with her. The Rock was ruthless with her. But she also was great with the storyline with Triple H and the drive-through wedding. Like that scene I'll never forget. That was amazing. That was one of the best segments I think I've ever seen. And her ability to work with Kane and everybody, like, she was always in the middle of it. And I never saw her as somebody that wouldn't get in the ring and take a bump. And so I have a lot of respect for Stephanie. I definitely do. I mean, I think she's still more involved with the company than her brother. And I know he wants to do his own thing or whatever, but she's stood the test of time. And of course it helps that her husband's, COO of the company. But good for her. I'm excited for her. Well done, Stephanie. You deserve it. And then the last match. I think we all knew what was going to happen here. All of us picked the same. Again, it's the only match that we picked different was Io and Stephanie, not McMahon, but Vecker. And I want y'all's take on the legitimacy of this, because it bothers me that you had to make McIntyre limp a little bit to make it real enough for Cody to win this match. I just think that at this point in Cody's career, we should not have to make McIntyre look like he has a foot injury for him to win. I know he's big. I know he's stronger. It doesn't add up.
I disagree, because I disagree, and here's why.
Cool.
Because Cody's entire character is he's basically an underdog. He's never been the big guy in the fight, ever. He will outwork you. He will outlast you, but he will not outpower you. He will not, dominate you. That's not his bit. So giving McIntyre a limp or something like that allows McIntyre to save face a little bit. And that is something that with your monsters, you need that. If your big powerful guys need to have some sort of, this weakness happened, this is why I lost. And especially with McIntyre's character of being able to blame everything but himself, everybody but himself, I love it's perfect for him to do that.
That's a good point. I don't necessarily understand the connection between Cody outlasting McIntyre if there's a crutch, so to speak. If it wasn't toe to toe, it wasn't both of them at full strength. That's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, the point was to make McIntyre save face. That's really what it came down to. It made McIntyre look like, he only lost because he got a little injured.
So, but that's the question I'm kind of getting at without asking it directly. So I'll be direct with the ask. Is Cody believable enough to beat McIntyre without this?
Yes, I will say he can, but I think that McIntyre's taken so many L's that McIntyre needed it more than Cody did.
Booch?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Cody and Drew definitely had a good match. And it's one of those things where on the one hand, like, it's the title match. So obviously it should be the main event. But I know that the Cody Drew storyline, even though it had some good moments, it felt at times the story felt kind of forced.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like,
it was rushed.
Yep.
And rushed and everything. So it was like, it didn't really, the match was okay, but it didn't have the emotion or excitement that a normal Cody Rhodes match has. It felt like we saw a match and we saw the champion retain.
It was put together too quickly.
Exactly. And they made it work. I'm not saying the match was bad. I'm just saying it didn't have enough of an emotional story behind it to where the fans didn't pop as loud as they would have if this was like a serious rivalry.
Right. And I want to say something about this show. There weren't a lot of terrible moments in the show. It's not that it was really bad. The matches themselves weren't terrible, excluding Lesnar and Cena. The matches themselves were fine. and they just weren't exciting. There was no real hype. Like they tried to hype it up as being WrestleMania quality, but didn't give us WrestleMania quality stories.
That's why they shouldn't do that. They do this every time they do a pay-per-view. I'm sorry, PLE.
It's because it was the first one on ESPN.
That was their first mistake.
When they did the day one on Netflix, that actually was pretty decent.
Agreed.
They could have done something. They didn't have to be. It didn't have to be over the top, but it should have been better than what it was for the hype that they put behind.
Yeah. But I mean, what do they do better next time? What would you?
Graded it ESPN graded it a C.
I saw
ESPN
that.
gave it a C grading, and apparently the thing that WWE didn't anticipate about ESPN is that
Was them being honest?
ESPN, yes, because it's not a wrestling blog or a wrestling site, or this isn't a Chris Van Vliet kind of thing. Not that Chris is biased, but you get my point. He's more deep in wrestling. ESPN is a sports-based channel. They analyzed the way they have football opinions, they have basketball opinions and soccer, and they broke WWE match down the same way. Like, they're going to be honest. Like, you know, you might have a favorite basketball player. If he didn't play well, they're going to be brutally honest about it. If a football player is not delivering, they're going to be brutally honest about it. And if WrestlePalooza is a C, they're going to call it a C. They're not going to give it an A to kiss up to TKO, because ESPN never does that. They don't kiss up to the NFL. Why would they kiss up to TKO?
Even they said that the only glowing point was the only shining light through that pay-per-view was the women's championship match.
Well, there you go. And it happened to be the match where Damascus Des retained his glorious When's World Prediction Championship. But there's more prediction defense coming up here in the next few weeks. We'll have to have you guys back for our next episode of the Male Soap Opera Moment. But until then, we will seldom forget to bring you the following. The first of which is, have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
Kill the champ, fuckers.